And hello out there, all you Lasso-holics, and welcome back to Peanut Butter and Biscuits, your Ted Lasso fancast for the Front Row Network on NPR Illinois. And guys, look, we always try to tease you, all right? But you see the title. You know what's about to happen today. It is another amazing interview we're bringing you here. I'm Jeremy Geckner, and as always, here with me, my co-host, Craig McFarland. What's up, man?
I had to get the mothballs off because we're coming out of hiatus.
Where have we been? Somebody's been.
We have been very busy podcasting other properties.
I was about to say, no, wait. It was the creators of She-Hulk and House of the Dragon and the Rings of Power that have been keeping us hostage.
I don't know if you knew that D23 Expo is also this week.
Also.
And so at the time that this releases, my Disney brain is going to be going wild. But it's been really fun to take a little bit of a break. We thank you to all of our listeners for allowing us to do that. You've all been so supportive, particularly in the social media and in the Peanut Butter and Biscuits Facebook group. So if you're not part of that group, for sure, definitely join, because we're going to be starting to talk a bit about everything that's coming out with season 3. But then also, they're the first ones to know about these interviews. I'm about to go post in there right after we're done here about the interview that we are going to be releasing today. I did want to mention something else as well. We do sometimes get asked if we ever would have merchandise, and we will now have merchandise. And first of all, it's wild to me that anybody would want to wear a Peanut Butter and Biscuits shirt, but we do have that coming. We are partnering with my good friend and Jeremy's good friend, Patrick Russell at Reverie Apparel, and they're a local shop here in Springfield. He is willing to do whatever kind of print you want, whatever kind of shirt you want, and then also he's going to ship it out to you and everything else. So we really do hope that you consider supporting his business and also supporting the podcast as well. So we will leave a link for that in the show notes going forward here if you want to pick up some merchandise. We have a great shirt that Jeremy designed, and it has the Tedisms as a definition, right, sir?
That's right. The official definition of Tedism. You can wear that all over the place so everyone knows the language you're using and why you keep using it for the last 3 years. But we also do have our standard logo shirt there with the brilliant logo designed by John Garcia. So you will want to get that. They're just really fun. They're really good. You're supporting local businesses, our local businesses, I guess. But more than just like a conglomerate shirts company or something. But yeah, so you can get those. And of course, another announcement, or did we tell them where to get them yet?
We did tell them to go to Reverie Apparel. We're going to have the link down below. I do like that I pitched it to you and immediately you credited the artist, John Garcia, because you know how important that is. John came to us early on in the show and he does some great work. And so definitely want to blow him up. He's in the Peanut Butter and Biscuits group. I bet if you wanted to get lassoized like Jeremy and I did, he might hook you up with that. So definitely check out for sure.
Definitely. And then the only other announcement is that, of course, we are coming up a couple days away now from the Primetime Emmy Awards. Our boys in AFC Richmond are nominated for the most awards for the second year in a row, but the competition has gotten pretty stiff. So we are going to be covering the Emmys and the aftermath on the Front Row Network main feed. Of course, we are part of the Front Row Network. And so if you want that, you can go over there. If there's like a bunch of Lasso wins, we'll probably drop it in this feed too. But if you're looking for that come next week, it will probably be in the Front Row Network feed. So head your butts on over to there and you can hear our thoughts on the Emmys. And hopefully we have some Ted Lasso wins to talk about.
For sure. Now, what do we have coming up beyond that? We are actually falling in love with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney all over again. Welcome to Wrexham is the perfect balm to put over that scar that is you waiting for season 3 of Ted Lasso. So definitely go and check that out. We're going to be doing kind of a special episode talking about that show and just really looking forward to that discussion as well. We also were approached by Coach Beard's Book Club, which is a great podcast. And those ladies asked us if we would want to do a book discussion. And of course we said yes. And so you all in the Facebook group picked out what we would be going for. And so this month you're supposed to read, this is a homework assignment, people. You were supposed to read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and we will be discussing it with those ladies in early October. So you'll get that as well. I think that's everything I needed to promote today before we get out of the way for Jeremy Swift to talk to them about how great Leslie Higgins really is.
Yeah, they're already yelling at us on their podcast feed. So, all right, everyone, without further ado, here is our discussion with Leslie Higgins himself, Mr. Jeremy Swift. All right, everyone, Peanut Butter and Biscuits fans, it's here. It's happening, guys. He is here. Jeremy Swift is here live on the show. Jeremy, thank you so much for being here. And again, we said it beforehand, but join the Jeremy Cool Club. Just thank you for being here.
Well, I only agree to do this interview if there's Jeremy involved. So,
of course, yeah.
I'm enjoying. I can't speak now. I'm enjoying your Lynchian curtains behind you.
Yes, the very David Lynchian curtains. I tried to get that nice depth of field focus thing, but I couldn't get it. So we'll just draw on that one. But again, we are just so excited to have you here, Jeremy. And of course, I just want to start with something very easy because we are literally days away from the Primetime Emmy Awards, 2 years in a row now. Ted Lasso has, of course, been the top nominated show in the comedy category, and there are so many nominations again this year. I know you guys had so much fun at the ceremony last year. The videos were hilarious, and of course you're gearing up for season 3 to release. But how are you guys feeling about the Emmy Awards coming up?
Well, very honored and excited. We're all going out for because we're still filming. We're going out for like 2 days. One of my shortest trips to LA, anywhere ever. So that's going to be quite weird. I noticed last year in all the pictures that Nick Mohammed did that because he had family commitments, and in all the group pictures, he basically looks like the dormouse, the sleeping dormouse at Alice in Wonderland's Mad Hatter's Tea Party. He looked asleep. So we're all going to look like that this year, I guess.
Well, you just got back from a couple of FYC events too out in LA. So you've had a busy kind of summer promoting and filming and doing all of this, right?
Yeah, there's a bit of that going on as well. Yeah. And there will be, I would imagine, a lot more for the end of the year when, we start doing all that stuff for season 3. Obviously, I'll get a huge smack bossum from Apple TV Plus if I give away too much. And in fact, I don't know stuff as well. So that's quite easy to go along with. But yeah. Yes, no, I did go out to LA and I had some very nice meetings and had some fun. Yeah.
That's great. And we won't try to pry. We promise that we're not going to get you in trouble at all.
Shahib and Nick has smacked us down. We're fine. Yeah, we're good. We're not getting anything.
I wonder, though, when we started to think about getting the opportunity to talk to you, one of the things that kept coming up to me is that going into Ted Lasso, you were one of the most sort of experienced film and television actors in the cast, maybe other than Jason. And so I'm wondering if you were sort of in a mentor role, or did you ever find yourself kind of in that role, especially with some of the new players that were on the pitch in particular, because these are a lot of actors that maybe this is one of their first opportunities. Do you ever find yourself in that kind of role?
What you mean, people coming to ask me stuff, or not particularly. I mean, with inexperience and youth comes a brash confidence as well with people. So but sweetly, some of the younger guys, like Christo and some of the footballers, they said, "Oh, we've just checked out your videos on IMDb and the stuff you've done and all that kind of thing." And which was very sweet and very flattering, and also made me feel very old. But No, I think there's a kind of nod to the fact that I've been around for a bit. But no, I didn't sit down and have kind of acting classes that I ran between scenes. But what can I say? Everybody's got a different experience. I mean, Juno has been around since she was a kid. So although she's only like 30, 31, she's had a couple of decades worth of experience on camera in big situations. So, she's got her own sort of set of experiences that have led her to where she is. And she's just incredible. And Hannah as well. She's done a lot of television but played huge leads in the West End. I mean, she is adored and revered, in the theatre world in London and on Broadway as well.
I came to know a bit about her during her time in Spam-A-Lot. I had the opportunity to play Patsy in a production around here, and it's just incredible, the amazing vocal quality that she has. Everything about her is just wonderful. So absolutely, that's so great. Now I want to talk about a bit about, in addition to your passion for acting and also for being on the screen, you have such a passion for your music as well. And I'm wondering if we can chat a little bit about this, because you actually are going to be releasing some additional music here in the very near future. And I'm wondering if, one, we can go ahead and play a clip of your latest music video that will be coming out, but also I kind of want to get that story about your family and your upbringing, and about how you were able to come to this passion for acting and music and just the arts in general.
Oh, sure. My parents were teachers, and they both were musicians. They were kind of into Amdram and doing Gilbert and Sullivan and stuff like that. And my mum, she made a record when she was like 16. There was a kind of there was a guy came to town, I will record your voice. And, it's like, one of these kind of, not snake oil sort of salesman, but, that kind of thing. And she was a sort of known up and coming contralto in the area. I got that from my mum and dad. They were, my dad he really got into things like, into synthesizers when I was about 10. And we used to make, there used to be a magazine called Practical Wireless and Practical Electronics. And we used to make up circuits. You could send away for these circuits like white noise units and ring modulators. And for anybody who doesn't know, a ring modulator, if you've ever seen the Daleks, Doctor Who, that thing, and the distortion that can do. So we'd, plug a mic into that and sort of mess around with things. And then we did end up buying a sort of kit synthesizer from somebody, but it only played like one note. We could never fix it. So just, I think it went up about half a tone, so all I could do was change the effects. So, yes. So I was brought up in that kind of sort of mad 70s world of, art kits and music teachers, and my mum and dad having choirs practices in our front room. And it was, of course, when you're a kid, you think that's normal. That's, and it's only in retrospectively that you sort of think, well, that's quite a unusual kind of, and, formative kind of experience to have had that, really. And then of course I annoyed them by getting into the Clash and the Sex Pistols when I was about 17. They were like, oh no, what are you doing? What you got to your hair? Etc. And so that was what they did for me, really, and I'm forever appreciative of it. And I did music lessons when I was a kid, violin and piano and all that kind of thing, little exams and all that sort of stuff. And I think they thought that I was going to be, my dad, I remember saying, I'd love to see you in the front desk of the London Symphony Orchestra. And, part of me thought, that's never going to happen. I'm going to be in a rock group, Dad. So suck on that. But then, of course, I started to, once I started jobbing as an actor, it's quite hard to sort of, which I did. I did form a band, but it was just really hard to keep it going. Which is why eventually, many years later, I've ended up doing a lot of stuff by myself, just because it's convenient, really, and the technology is there to make it expedient as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And you have what's incredible about it is that you do put all of this together really on your own. It's the musical talent. My son actually just started piano lessons last week, actually with Jeremy's
with my wife. So
wife.
yeah,
So I guess we'll find out.
Your
if
whole
she's
comment,
really great.
your comments about like growing up with music in the house are making me very self-conscious right now about what my son is thinking about me, because there's literally never music not happening in our house.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
He did start singing like a kid song the other day. I was like, man, you got good pitch already, kid. Like we gotta keep you going.
Oh yeah, you want to try and check him out, just see if he can recognize a note,
Exactly. And he did. He did it all by himself too. I was like, wow, okay, I guess we really do got to keep you going in some lessons here. But I think it was like a Paw Patrol song or something. So, not exactly Stravinsky or something like that.
I will say that, even if it's a dream of mine for my son to be in the front seat of an orchestra, if he ends up being an Emmy nominated actor, I probably will be okay with that as well.
Yeah, those check out.
Yeah, well, parents, they've always got something going on. They'll always go, oh, shame about the front desk,
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so Jeremy, this new video, Wonderland, is coming out, directed by the Hadley brothers. We're going to play a little clip of it here. I gotta say, I got so many questions about this I want to ask you. So let's just see if we can get some good music clippage going here with a little clip here from Wonderland.
Wonderland, see the driver's seat. You got to Wonderland. Hello, hooray. You got to understand. This is all a game.
That is Wonderland, everyone, by Jeremy Swift. That's a little snippet. We're not giving you everything. Craig and I have been lucky enough to see the whole thing, but we are only giving you a snippet. Jeremy, this is insanely awesome music here, because, and I'm getting, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but I'm like such a huge like Peter Gabriel type of music fan, and I'm getting big like Peter Gabriel vibes off of this. Am I close? Am I close on like inspiration? Like what inspired the sound of this song?
You know what? Most Americans think that I sound like Peter Gabriel, which I don't. I do like Peter Gabriel. I don't, and there's lots of singles that I think he's a fantastic singer as well. He really was into soul, really.
Oh yeah.
When you look back, but my inspiration really throughout the years has been kind of art pop. Who, if anybody's sort of stepped outside of the zone and been just mixed it up a little bit. Although I do like rootsy stuff, I like stuff that makes you think, what?
Yeah.
From glam stuff like Roxy and Bowie to Bjork and Radiohead, things that people who just juxtapose things and use technology in a new way. And I suppose vocally, I've loved a lot of people like baritone singers like Scott Walker, Bowie, and Neil Hannon from the Divine Comedy, who I just saw 2 nights ago. Wow, what an amazing talent he is. So partly because it's easy to sing along. If somebody's doing I can't generally sing along. So I think that's what I kind of trained my voice to do a little bit. So those are the kind of inspirations. But when I try and do something new myself, and this particular track, I didn't have vocals for it for a long time, and the bottom end of it really, it probably doesn't sound like it, but it really sounded like grime. It was quite a dirty kind of rhythm thing that was going on at the bottom end, and then I think I just stuck a few fat synths in there and changed it up, and then I overdubbed my voice like a gazillion times. There are something like 35 vocal tracks on it.
Wow.
And there are my producer, Mark Warman, who was worked with the late Scott Walker and done string arrangements. He's just so incredibly clever, and he knows every facet of Logic Pro X, which is the system we use, and he's just mixed it to a T, because he would say between gritted teeth, there are 127 tracks on this. I just keep discovering something else. What's this? Play me that track in isolation. I go, oh my God, I can't remember that bit.
But... I remember that one, yeah.
But it's all part of the texture, Mark. Yeah, so it's had a lot of work over, I think I did the bottom end and a lot of the instrumentation like pre-pandemic, and then it's just built and become this huge thing.
That's so great. And I'm wondering if you can talk a bit about the symbolism that comes not only from the song, but also then the music video. I get a lot of vibes of sort of consumerism and sort of that.
Sure.
Is that kind of what you're going for, or am I totally off base here?
Yeah, I think really the lyrics were I always find it difficult to talk about. Yeah. Like, what was I thinking again? But I guess it's kind of like the disparity between worlds where trouble-torn worlds where there are people are herded back into their shell-shot houses by drones, and this kind of first world of Jeff Bezos and the biggest extremities of wealth and poverty that we've almost ever had, and sort of intimating that maybe the wealthy world isn't quite what we'd think it would be, so I've kind of got and the video sort of touches on that with a kind of people just sort of casually lying in rubbish, and some craziness in there. It's a kind of visual pull-in, I think, as much as anything. But yes, that's what I'm sort of going for, and hopefully just a chorus that people will remember.
Now, before I know that Jeremy's going to start transitioning us back to some more Lasso questions and things, before we do that, do you have a release date for the new albums that will be coming out? Everything? Can you tell us a bit about that?
The album, I'm going for the 3rd of February, and this single will be coming out on the 14th of October. Yeah. So it'll be on all good platforms soon, which is always a strange image, isn't it? Just thinking of audio on a train platform. But, yeah, so there we go. Yeah. You can dig it and listen to it and possibly buy it if you do.
All three. Go do all three, everyone. Yeah. Dig it, buy it, and listen. All right. Well, yeah, again, I'm setting my own calendar right now, just so you know, October 14th. Okay, so to get back to Ted Lasso just a little bit, this past season was so great. We had so much fun with this last season, and it was clear you guys did too. But, Craig and I go back and forth, but mostly we settle on our favorite episode of season 2 was Rainbow, which of course was very special for you, getting to film with your wife, Mary. So, did you have kind of that significance of that, before you shot? Do you still look on it very fondly after now as you're in season 3?
We do. And again, this is from you guys, you lovely fans who, I was just amazed that people got into that episode so much. It was really, really touching. Mary and I had to, for that little moment, we had about 20 minutes at the end of the day, and it was one of those rare things where two actors, because we were still in pandemic mode. So there was a lot of, the director said, "Oh, you two can actually touch and kiss," and I said, "Well, we could have sex if you like, but we just did it in a stadium, and we we literally, it was the end of the day, and Ted Lasso is very tight on union rules, which is very cool. Finishing at 7, and we started filming it about 22 minutes to 7 with a lot of essays there. So, it was a kind of rush thing, and we just thought, well, I hope that works. But yeah, everybody, the people's reaction to that episode was just so touching and so adorable. I think one of the great things about because you sort of slightly forget about that moment, because I think mostly it's about Roy, that that section at the end of the episode, which is so deftly put together with the song. Everything, every visual thing works. Like, I think towards the end, it closes in on Nick Mohammed, and there's this with the song, there's a psychedelic kind of fade out, and there's like some crazy violins that sound a bit Hitchcock, which just match with Nate's mad fury that he's building for that character. It's just so well put together. These people really know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think you guys should keep going with this thing. Quite good there.
So many of my favorite scenes revolve around Leslie, and especially the time in the house during Carol of the Bells. And it's almost like you're our conscience, you're our Jiminy Cricket throughout this show. And it's like every now and then you just drop these bits of knowledge on us as an audience, but also you're going through this transformation, because at the beginning you were kind of quiet and you didn't really know your place in trying to work with Rupert and with Rebecca. And so I'm just wondering if there are moments that you will take away from the set that are some of your favorites that you will be looking at back fondly when Ted Lasso is over.
Well, I loved in the first season doing the cake dance scene. Yeah. Which was just such great fun, and they shot it forever because Zach Braff directed that episode, and he just wanted to keep shooting it. I kept having to eat very, very sugary cake. I'm surprised I've got any teeth left. But I love doing that. And when you look, I look back on it about a year ago, and you can see that Jason is laughing as Jason Sudeikis in it. So, which is great. I'd love to make somebody who's that talented laugh. But yeah. Doing that episode with Mary was just so great, because there were scenes where we're in the background just cutting up carrots or something like that, whilst there was the kids or Tahib doing a scene, and I just thought, wow, this is just like being at home but with the camera crew. So that was and we would just sort of chat as we would at home. It was like, oh, should we move? Should we swap places? Because I think that so that was a sort of unique bit of fun.
That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, of course, Ted Lasso's show about football. So I've had a Premier League team for a very long time. I am a Tottenham Hotspur guy. I have been for a very long time. We recently adopted Craig into the English Premier League. He got to choose his own team for the first time this year. He chose Nottingham Forest. That's fine. We're not bitter. But that is his team now.
They're like the most Ted Lasso team. They just got promoted to the Premier League, and they got the I just think immediately I'm an ignorant American over here, Jeremy. So I immediately go to Robin Hood. So, I mean, come on, of course I'm going to pick Nottingham Forest.
Well, and I can't really speak too much, because I chose Tottenham back in college because I was in a production of My Fair Lady, which of course takes place a lot in Tottenham. So my reasoning wasn't exactly like sporting or anything like that, but I've stuck with it since then. But Jeremy, do you have a Premier League team that you call your own?
Well, I have to say, and I don't know whether you know this, but Nick Mohammed and I are the people, well, and Hannah as well, to be honest, are the people who are completely ignorant about football.
This is what I was wondering.
I was asked quite early on by Brendan, when I first met him, and he sort of said, do you like football? Because, the whole thing really stems from Brendan. And I went, I have to say, not at all. Which he, laughed his head off about. But I think if I had to choose, it would be between Middlesbrough, because that's the nearest big team to where I'm actually from in the Northeast, or Liverpool, because I just love the people and the city of Liverpool.
Mm.
So and of course they're a legendary team.
Yeah, they're also quite good.
Yeah, quite reasonable team with a bit of a history. Yeah. So
That's-
that's who I'd plump for.
That's great. That's great. Now we've had the chance to talk to so many of your castmates, and our listeners are sick of hearing this, but during the pandemic, I found two things as therapy. I found running and I found Ted Lasso. I was able to go out and kind of just be able to take it on my own and clear my head. I've actually lost about 70 pounds, and now I'm training for my first marathon. And so I'm wondering, it's interesting to me, and I almost think I know the answer to this, but do you have ways of clearing your head? Your show focuses so much on mental health. Is there ways that you go about your own mental health?
Well, the one thing that we could do was walk. So, and of course it became, I don't know whether it was the same for you guys, but it was discovering new places in London, because if you would walk in the park, it was basically like a prison, walk, it's just literally like, it was, the parks were so rammed. So it was a challenge to do that. And I found playing music, playing my bass or playing the piano, just focusing on getting runs and scales right, just took my mind off the whole thing, because it was such a pressure, wasn't it? It was such a, there didn't seem, we like to solve things, we like to work out how to deal with things, and it seemed unsolvable.
Yeah.
Apart from, will these vaccinations work? How long will it take? Blah 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 blah.
It was like constantly scrolling that news for any updates. And, I think one of the good things, at least for myself personally, that came out of that was that focus on your own mental health, and you're trying to put yourself in a better space. And as I mentioned, you and your castmates were a huge part of that journey for me. And so I really do appreciate that. Certainly. And it's continuing on to this day, which I think is maybe one of those good things that potentially came out of a horrific situation. So thank you.
Oh, well, that's, that was a big thing. And when I still find, I'm very honored that people say that, and I get it too, and of course we, as the show, that wasn't the intention of the show, of course, and the world was quite a shitty place before that happened anyway. I'm so glad it did that for people. And
I can't believe that our time is already fleeting with you, but we do have a couple of last questions. Jeremy, you want to take it away?
Yeah. So, of course, most of the critical consensus, you might have heard this, is that this is probably our last year with our beloved AFC Richmond. All of us are, in a dead panic that might be true, of course. But, we've wanted to ask everyone, though, like, this show has been such a phenomenon. And, as you said, right place, right time, and right message. And it's resonated so well. Like, what do you hope to take away from it? What do you think is next for you after the massive success of Ted Lasso?
You mean career-wise?
Sure.
Or just a person, as a person, I think, well, you kind of have to be a good ambassador for the show, and that has just made me just think about, when the times when I can be a bit disparaging about stuff, and is it worth being negative? And it's kind of focused me a little bit, because so many people waste their energy on just taking things down. And, we live in a constantly polarizing, divisive world, and it's very easy to be drawn into it. And you have to work at not being drawn into it, but it's worth it. So I think I think that's what I will take away from it as a person, and I hope that I can hold on to that. You know.
Yeah, well, you just got me really bad there, because that's where I was pandemic wise, and this show definitely helped me to be like, just let it go, just play with your kids for a little bit.
Do you take you mentioned that message, do you take things? So my wife, huge Downton Abbey fan, she would kill me if I didn't mention that, and then of course I'm a huge Disney guy. In addition to Ted Lasso, I podcast about Disney, so you being in Mary Poppins Returns was like, oh my gosh, is there pieces of those characters that you try to carry with you, or is this something kind of special to Leslie Higgins?
I think it is. I think it is to do with the show as well. My character in Downton was very convoluted, quite a sour person, and who I really enjoyed playing, but it's not somebody I would like to keep any remnants on, or dwell on particularly. I think he was probably, a wannabe authoritarian sprat, and but was thwarted by having the ultimate smart ass authoritarian as his boss. But just on a personal level, I love, I was very proud to have been brought into that show. And with the Mary Poppins, that meant a lot to me, because I'm, so old that I was a very small kid when it came out. So, meeting Dick Van Dyke and being in a scene with him was incredible. And even, Colin Firth, said, you sort of not get blasé, but, it's inevitable that you will work with known people to a certain extent. But meeting him was dreamlike, and the fact that he was, he was so easy to talk to, and would burst into song and stuff. It's just as delightful as you would imagine,
That's
so
great.
That's just an incredible takeaway from that job. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Absolutely. Well, Illinois native, Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah.
He's from a couple of hours to what, the east of us,
To the east of
actually.
us,
So
yeah, where we are right now. Well, we've had so much fun with you here, Jeremy. We have to get a little shameless self-promotion here in, because when we first interviewed Tahib, he mentioned to Nick that he should come on. Nick mentioned to us that you should come on. So go ahead. I know you're wanting to. I know you've been waiting for it to nominate somebody else from the cast to come on Peanut Butter and Biscuits. So open forum, whoever you want to invite on for them.
You got to get Hannah on, haven't you?
There we go.
My gosh, we are such musical theater nerds. You can't even.
Oh my
Talk
God.
Broadway. We would literally talk Broadway, nothing Ted Lasso.
Yeah, if she, we would. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. So,
Oh yeah. Oh,
okay, we'll try. We will try our best.
We'll try. Now we've got the Jeremy Swift endorsement. There you go.
And then we do have a final question that we like to ask people, and that is that you do hundreds of these types of interviews through junkets and through everything else that you do. And I wonder if there's ever either some kind of message or a story that you want to talk about, but you're never able to, you're never asked about it. So we wanted to just provide kind of an open forum for you if there's some kind of message or story you'd like to leave us with.
Oh my gosh, I am. Yeah, wow. I don't have one off my. I just don't. I'm so boring. I talk about music.
You are not boring.
That's what I do. I don't think there's anything I can really plug here apart from just go out and be great to people. Even if they're a bit grumpy, take the lead.
That's so great. I mean, you are truly the character that you play, and then also just seeing your passions for the arts. It means an awful lot to a lot of people. So thank you for your creativity in art, because that's what we need. We need those people out there that are out there going onto the stage. I know we didn't bring it up, but I know that your first acting job was in a penitentiary, bringing art to people that need it, maybe at their most darkest hour. And so just thank you for everything that you've done in your career and you continue to do.
Oh, wow. That's so kind. Thank you. I'm welling up now.
And hey, best wishes at the Emmys this weekend. It's going to be incredible to watch. And, you know, I know that they had the Creative Arts Emmys, and Mel and AJ are now quickly becoming friends. And I know that they did not take home the Emmy this year, but they're going to get it next year.
We're sending some angry tweets out to the Television Academy. Believe you me.
But thank you so much,
Well,
Jeremy.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your time today, sir.
An absolute pleasure. You have a great day.
So, Craig, we're going through these lists of these Ted Lasso actors now, and he nominated Hannah, and we're just going to continue pushing that into the ground. So, Hannah, if you want us to stop bugging you on social media, or more appropriately, your PR reps, just say yes. Just come on. We want to talk Broadway. That's it. We'll ask a Lasso question, but we really just want to pick your Broadway brain.
I'll tell you what, the musical theater geek in me would be something else. She recently said, trust the musical theater people, and that a lot of these actors are starting to come off the West End and immediately onto our television and movie screens and just blowing it out of the water. And so it would be great to get a chance to talk to her. It's also great to talk to Jeremy about his music and his passion for music. We had just a short time with him today, but it was so great to be able to discover and see that passion sort of in his face when he got to talk about his new album that will be coming out next year, February 3rd, and then also his music video for Wonderland that you'll all be able to see on October 14th. We got a sneak peek of it.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Make sure you go and download that. So yes, we got a great preview. Make sure that you go out and support Jeremy's music. It is awesome. It is, out there, and it is really fun. Okay, so just make sure you go and support that. And of course, we're just going to continue doing these. We don't know exactly when season 3 is going to drop, but look, we're getting close to a trailer time. We would be thinking. So make sure that you are continuing to pay attention to Peanut Butter and Biscuits. Craig, where can they find us online, man?
Of course, we've promoted it a bunch of times with the Peanut Butter and Biscuits Facebook page. That's a great way to actually interact with us. And then, of course, you can follow us on PBBFRN. And I just want to say thank you to Jeremy for his time and his talent. It's just so amazing to get these. He really has so many acting credits to his name. And I know that he has a bright future ahead of him as well. And then to also get to chat with him about his music. It was just a really great conversation today. I'm so grateful to him. And then I'll make my plea as well, Jeremy. Hannah, come on. We will
just come on.
We will be so nice. We'll talk musical theater. We'll talk everything. She's got a new podcast coming out as well. We'll talk about all of it.
We'll plug it all. You need our listeners. No, yeah. You're analyzing.
No, she doesn't at all.
But we're gonna go Stephen King with this. Andre Leno's Storm of the Century. Just give us what we want, and we'll go away. All right. So that's all we'll tell you. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. As always, look for those things that are coming up that we will be on. And again, if you want any more from Craig or I, we're all over the Front Row Network. He's going to be talking D23. I'm on every week talking She-Hulk and the House of the Dragon. So there's tons of stuff out there. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. As always, I'm Jeremy Geckner.
I'm Craig McFarland.
And as always, folks, be a goldfish.
Be a goldfish.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Front Row Network, a proud Community Voices member of National Public Radio, Illinois. For more from the Front Row Network, including our articles or our other dozens of shows, visit thefrontrownetwork.com or nprillinois.org/programs/Front Row Network. You can also find us on social media by searching for the Front Row Network on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and on Twitter at Front Row Reviews with a Z.